What's up, very good friends? Peace upon you na wasalimia tena. Damn. It's been a while before I sat before this camera niwape story, but of course nimekuwa busy up and down meeting incredible human beings, listening to incredible outlooks of life, and of course trying to better ourselves because I think every day it's a learning process na nini. Now of course najua mumeni. Yes, I know you have missed me. I have been away for quite a while, yeah. But mambo here and there. Before I get into the content of the day, this story is one of the most amazing tales I've ever listened to. This one affects us till today, so if you think this one is not for you, just hold on for a minute. This one is hot. Of course, it has a lot of implications with today's life na kenye inaendelea, especially with our country, with our generation. Na sisi Gen Z men mkijua venye, so this one touched somewhere. I had to go down to see a lot of older generations for me to get some of this information, and a lot of this information is really inspirational. It's really interesting. So of course I welcome you. I welcome you to join me on this journey. Listen to this tale. This tale is magnificent, to say the least. And of course I have to remind you guys, the main reason why mi ufanya hii kitu ni kwa sababu niliwashow tunakuanga na amazing stories sisi wenyewe. Kama Kenyans, by the way, we have the best of stories, the best of tales to tell, the best of stories to share, the best of stories for other people and other places to experience. But the main problem inakuanga, even with our history, it was not written by us. It was not written by us for us. It was written by somebody else who didn't know of our tales. So this one is close to home. It's close to heart. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you learn something from it. So our tale today is deep in the heart of the Kenyan mainland, in a community by the Kamba people. The Kamba are part of the Bantu group of the Central Kenya region, or the bigger Central Kenya region. Mnajua wa Kamba, men. Now, of course, for the longest time kumekuwa na stereotypes, especially to watu wa Kamba and the Kamba nation. Watu wakijaribu kusema, maneno za witches and wizardry and Harry Potter people, And I think the majority of these stereotypes come from a place of misunderstanding na kutojua. So I hope this tale opens your mind to something very different, all right? Yeah. So late in the 1700s, or very early in the 1800s, under a very sacred tree in the Kamba community, a woman is giving birth. It is a very stormy night. The day during, like, for the pile up or the build up of this storm, kumekuwa na a double rainbow. Kumeonekana a double rainbow, of which, let me tell you, even to date, a double rainbow is a rare occurrence. So the circumstances behind this birth are very unique, all right, as you can see. And of course, it goes without saying, the person or the child that is born is utmost unique, because imagine, unaona venye sisi tunazaliangu, ama wacha niache kusema sisi juu hata siwezi kumbuka. By the way, you guys tell me hapo kwa comment section, what is the earliest memory you can remember of yourself ukiwa mtui? Because I try to remember nikiwa mdogo, crawling age sikumbuka. I remember myself while I was like, the earliest memory I have of myself is like when I was 7 years old or something. But anyway, we are sidetracking from it. Just tell me about the comment section, what is the earliest memory you have of yourself as a child? So this baby has been born. When a child is typically born, even in hospitals today, madaktari who slap kwa matako. The main reason wanafanyanga hivi ni ndio mtoi alie. Science says mtoi akilia ni ndio, kama kulikuwa na fluids zilikuwa zina block pathways or whatever, they clear up. This child born under unique circumstances does not cry. In fact, this baby is wide-eyed. He's like, wow. So this is it? Yeah, and those were very unique circumstances, because even the people who are present during the birth of that child, by the people I mean our grandparents, our grandmothers, and our aunties, and the women who are in charge of these processes back then, they were very this baby made them very curious. And of course, as it goes without saying, under curious circumstances of the birth, the child mwenyewe lazima angekuwa curious. And growing up, this child was very unique. I want you to look at similarities between children that are born today, because nataka tuangalie to balance tuone whether things have changed that much or not, ama ni sisi hatukuange tukiunderstand vitu. The child back then, when akigrow up, hakuwa na interact na watoi wenzake sana. Hakuwa mtoi wa kucheza atio, you know, the likes of me wenye tulikuwa left, right and center in the estate. Mse alikuwa chill, hakuwa loud, hakuwa anataka si ati like hakuwa anataka, hakuwa na interact na wase sana, but instead she chose point of information, because ni kama nimeskip, the baby that was born was a girl, all right? Yes, now we are caught up. She chose to live a quiet life. Like, ni mse mwenye alikuwa na play really na wengine. She would rather have the company of, you know, going, sitting by a stream somewhere and listening to the voices around. Listening, observing. Those were her skills. Those were her you know, her day-to-day thing while she was growing up. And of course, this sort of behavior, as it happens today, we have seen situations where a child is born, and of course, the parents are usually very worried. Same thing. The people around this baby girl that has been born, they were always observing. Of course, this is their work. The older generation is to observe, to nurture, to care for, to guide and all that. Walikuwa wana observe. Baba yake, especially the father, aliwahi kuja at one situation, akashikana na shoshe yake. Shoshe mtoi sasa akamuuliza, "Hey man, mtoi hayuko possessed man na majini or something?" Like, I behave in a unique way, man. Well, it is terrifying, to say the least. But the grandmother, wise in her words, she chose to tell the dad this. Akamwambia very candidly, "This baby that you're seeing here is not possessed. She is brilliant. She is fine the way she is. Actually, she carries the voices of our ancestors." Those words were the words that were said to me by an elder in the community while I was researching this tale. That the words used by the grandmother then was that this baby girl carries the voices of our ancestors. She was unique from birth. Tumeona how unique she was, even the situation of her birth, her upbringing. During her upbringing, of course, and as she grew up, she had these moments where she was tormented by vivid dreams, and she had dreams of things that have not yet happened, things that were very strange. As a matter of fact, while she was talking about these dreams of hers, or these situations that she is seeing, she used to talk of strange lands and strange people. As a matter of fact, just so that I can give you the name of this incredible human being, her most famous of prophecies was, and you heard the days yenye alikuwa mauko ma 1800s, her famous prophecy ilikuwa that she sees a metal snake from the sea getting inland. Her name, or the name of this incredible legend, is none other than Syokimau of the Kamba people. And of course, this famous prophecy, alikuwa na prophesy the coming of the railway, the coming of the train from the sea, Mombasa, inland. And a lot of people who may research about Syokimau may only know of just this one famous prophecy. But today, we don't even want to deal with that famous prophecy. We don't even want to deal with that very commonly known knowledge. Yeah? Nataka kuwapatia tips na tales na stories za vitu zenye watu huwa wajui. So, tumeona she was born under unique circumstances. The day when she was born, kulikuwa na storm, a double rainbow was witnessed. She was born under a holy sacred tree. This lady amezaliwa ameangalia tu watu. It's like historians actually say the way she was wide-eyed, or the way she looked around the world, it's like she had seen it before. It's like, this isn't new for me, you know. That was her situation. Tumeona akigrow up venye hakuwa mse wa kuinteract na wasi sana, hakuwa kuinteract na her peers much of the time. No, this one was more quiet, observant. Those were her character traits while she was growing up. Tumekuja kuona pia she was tormented by vivid dreams of things that were strange to the people at the time, things that had not been seen. She was foreseeing things that were coming even into the future. As a matter of fact, she had such a private life that growing up, of course, the cultural, religious affairs zilikuwa zina happen communally back in the day, where people used to worship communally. They used to, you know, give all their like the religious norms zilikuwa zinakaliwa out religiously and like communally, walikuwa wanafanya vitu kama community. She used to participate in this, but more than that, this lady alikuwa na a private sacred shrine deep in the forest. Like dem alikuwa, yani that was her life yake ilikuwa ku interact na nature. People actually, if we actually looked at it, the amount of time I'll spend with human beings, that the amount of time I'll spend alone with nature and with animals as company, this side wins. The nature, the company, the animals, that side wins the majority. She had this sacred shrine where she would go worship alone, where she would have if she get the vivid dreams or the prophecies that are coming to her, she will write down on the walls of the caves, she will write down on barks of trees, and it was just an amazing lifestyle that she led, a very unique one. I had to ask, because I am a young person, this one has been a problem for our generation, where, you know, matters of love and relationships. How was it back then? How did Syokimau handle it? Truth of the matter is, she actually did not marry. And I was told of this legend where there was this young man who was pursuing this young lady. And of course, the young man was a warrior, because back then during the day, young men were warriors, all right? This young man pursued this young lady for a while, man. Kijana alikuwa amemkufia mbaya sana. Head over heels, I am telling you. Head over heels. But every time kijana alikuwa anakaribia hati ya Syokimau, will you imagine this guy, he would get so sick, so paralyzingly sick, kukaribia tu hat, ati nimekuja kukugotea tu nione venye unaendelea, ninajua it's been a while tangu hata watu kwa kijiji wa kuone, nimekuja tu nikugotee. The next day this guy is terribly ill, and it bothered Syokimau. And actually I was being told that she mourned for this love, she mourned for this young man, and she actually once told one of her closest companions back then that, oh my god, this one touched me. Alimwambia that any man who shares her vision or who shares her dream will drown in them. Will you imagine? Like, yani, her burden was too heavy that any man who would share in that burden would just drown, man. Yani, mse mwenye aliamua, it was by, yani, she chose her path, and she remained true to it, regardless of the fact that she had to sacrifice even the littlest of, you know, mapenzi, man. Na venye mnajua mapenzi ni tamu, man. Oh my god. Yeah, that was it. She never married, and of course, telling you the tale with the young man, she wouldn't want any other man to suffer the same. Now, of course, the fact that she even knew that anyone who would share her dream will drown in it, I think she chose not to engage in that social aspect. Of course, alikuwa anataka ku save, you know, the young men back then. it was a crazy experience listening to all these tales from older generations, from the older my grandparents who were telling me. Of course, I call them my grandparents because that is their age, not because they are by blood my grandparents, but kwa sababu ya age yake wako like their grandparents to me. Kuwasikiliza, man, it was so fascinating. You could see the sparkle in their eyes when they were saying how Syokimau chose a life of diligence over a life where she could have whatever she wanted. And of course, by the way, I really appreciate the fact that right now we have cameras and technology in a grow. Back then hakukukua, but kuna a photo of a sculptor niliona, and of course bandika hiyo kitu hapo. You see this young lady, she was of course looking at the physique of this sculpture. You can see she was fine. She knew what we call currently, you know, fine babes. Now, as I come to conclude the very interesting tale of Syokimau, there's one thing that captured my mind and of course blew it to 1,000 pieces. Back during those times, a lot of people in that community and in that setup could not understand many of her prophecies. And actually, it is usually said, or it is known in the community right now, that many of those prophecies that she wrote on cave walls have never been discovered. Those prophecies that she wrote on stones, that many of them have never been discovered, including one very particular message that it is said it was not meant for her people, but it was meant for generations to come. It is what the people in that community, they call it the prophecy of unborn prophets. All right? It is the prophecy of unborn prophets, and it is said that it contained a message. Yani, message iliandikiwa, it contained a message for people who would be born 7 generations after Syokimau died. Now, of course, lazima ningeenda ni research nione tangu Syokimau adedi 7th generation ni nani? And would you imagine that the people who fall most likely within the 7th generation after her death, Gen Z or Gen Alpha? Those 2 generations have a very powerful prophetic message from Syokimau back in, she had written that prophecy back in the 1800s. Na hatujui kwenye iko, guys. Sad part of the story ni ati hatujui kwenye iko. But the thing is, fascinatingly, imagine somebody in the 1800s writing a message to the people in this generation, in this year. Kidogo kabla sijasahau, one of her very famous not famous, but one of her prophecies that is well known in the hush of the community is that she once prophesied, or she had a dream, and she said she could see kids looking into stones and talking into stones, and the stones talk back, and the stones were the size of their hands. My friends, she was talking about our phones, fam. She was talking about our technology, man. Back in that time, she of course talked of prophecies of moving houses, the cars. She talked of prophecies of flying metals, the aeroplanes that we, man. She was that blessed. She was prophetic. I'm telling you. So now, of course, she died and the years have passed, and we commemorate legends like this by stories that are told from mouth to mouth, stories that are told in the ashes of the campfire, in the kitchens where we watch our shows and our wokas and listen to their tales. This is how her legend lives on. But more than that, right now, currently in Kenya, in Machakos County, actually, kuna an area where it's called Syokimau. A lot of people may not know where the name comes from, but it stems from the legend of Syokimau herself, from back the days of in the 1800s and all that. See, tukuja sasa to relate humaneno in current days. I got a couple of months, wait, actually I don't think, let's just call it a couple of weeks ago, kulikuwa na People's Dialogue Festival in Uhuru Park, and I got the opportunity to go and participate in it. Now of course ninajua muliona nikitrend X kidogo, but I am telling you all this, we call it the Lord's work, yeah. During that festival, I was very privileged kupatana na a parent who was advocating and speaking on the rights of children with autism. Na in recent days as well, nimekuwa na this very close human being close to me, and amekuwa akipitia a lot of issues zenye when she went to hospital, they had to test her for this, I think it's called the autism spectrum and what have you. Nikiangalia the tale of Syokimau, the people in her community back then wanaweza kuwa hawakuwa wanajua probably this child is blessed with this gift. Na unaona, it's only like maybe I can say even for the father, aliconvince you another the wise words of the grandmother when alimwambia she holds the voices of our ancestors. Venye nilimit parent mwenye alikuwa anaongea kuhusu watu wenye wako na autism, and the fact that nimekuwa ni interact na a lot of people who are battling a lot of I don't want to call them mental problems because they're not problems per se, they are just gifts. We are usually gifted uniquely. Ni ile tunapenda kuangalia sana the bad rather than the good of what this thing is, because I believe kuna hii saying yenye Wakristo hupenda kusema sana, that Mungu haezi kupatia battle yenye hajui uwezi handle, and that is just what I really like to emphasize with resonating with the tale of Syokimau. You never know how gifted you are if you only see it as a curse. You'll never see it as a blessing. And your blessings, man, are those things that make you unique. Those things that wanna feel in a battle deep in me. It is something that is stressing me. This is something that is discriminating me from others. No, that is the thing that makes you unique. And that is the blessing that God gave you. That is the blessing that the universe has bestowed upon you. We all know I am a man of science, but more than being a man of science, I am a man of faith. The fact that it is proven both spiritually and scientifically that energy has been the same ever since the world was created. It only converts from one form to the other. That means that thing yenye una feel inanisumbua akili, iyo uniqueness yenye una feel, oh, you know what, I am... No, man. Stop looking at it from a negative perspective and look at it from a positive perspective. This story of Syokimau was inspired to me. The motivation for me to go look for this story was inspired to me by a lady. I want to give her a shout out, and I told Mildred Ngesa. This lady opened up a piece of my heart and let me feel a whole different with a lot of things zenye nimekuwa nikifeel ni kama ni vitu zina discriminate from the society. Na akona kitabu ina launch soon, of course hiyo kitabu ikitokea, na hata yeye mwenyewe nita make sure nimemleta kwa hii kipindi. She inspired me to look for this story amongst other stories of femininjas in this great continent of ours. And because last year we had begun this segment where we are appreciating our women, we are appreciating the legends of our mothers, our sisters, our nieces and daughters, hii ninataka kuifanya a dedication kwa sababu ya kuinspiriwa na wewe Mildred. You are an inspiration to many, I am sure. For that very main purpose, this story ikufikie, au sio? Yeah, that has been my time. I hope to see you very soon. I am promising that I will not run away, because right now I have a lot to tell you guys. I have a lot to share. Until next time when we meet, of course, I keep asking and requesting, tafadhali guys, follow, like, subscribe, share, pick a like, comment, all of that. It truly helps us. Yeah, until next time, my name has been Prince KR. Peace, man.